anybody here? Are we live? Can you hear us? Huh. Maybe something's wrong with
These headphones.
Oh, can hear us? Okay, good. All right. I think we're ready for our final show of the season. What? Is something wrong?
Yeah, the sounds.
Is it too high? You can turn.
No, it's like tinny and really weak.
It's really weak and tinny. Let me see here. There's unmuted. I don't know. Let's just oh. Well, let's go ahead and will you change that? We'll get live. We can start talking and see how it goes. Okay. We will all be there, everyone. Almost.
Switch mics.
Switch mics. Okay. So I'm going to switch mics. Okay. This one I'm going to go over here. Whoops. There you go. Okay. I can hear all that. You can hear me. Alright. Is that better? Okay. Alright. Okay. I think we're ready. Does that look weird? So, yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. Alright, we're ready to go live. Hello everyone, welcome to the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl Show. And I am Rebekah YHVH from Teshuvah Ministries. And today is our final show of the season. Super exciting. Shavuot is tomorrow. It's kind of the Shavuot weekend. So we are celebrating with some white. So welcome to a good time today. All right, I have one question for Isaac before we begin. Where are the girls? Just, can you check and make sure they're, I'm sorry, I'm just mommy. Like, where'd the girls go? So at the, towards the end of the show, I'm going to tell you where we actually are today and where we were last week. I just want to make sure I know where the girls are. All right, please make a comment and let us know if you, can hear us and everything is working okay. Today is a pretty big last show, honestly. We have quite a few things to chat with you about. Just an amazing story of what happened yesterday to us. I know that throughout the course of the week there's been a lot of different things happening with the ladies in the Facebook group, but I have my own story to share with you today, and the family's going to join me for that. So, no, it's okay if the girls are out there. I just wanted to know where they were. Okay, Maggie, Hadassah, you're good. Okay. All right, so I think at some point we will turn the camera because I'm going to have family over here and here. I'm just looking, just making sure it's okay. So, all right, so today is the, what is it? It's May 26th, 2018. It's Memorial Day weekend, I think, which for me that means nothing. Memorial Day weekend is all about Shavuot this year. We are memorializing when the trumpets blew from Mount Sinai this weekend. So this is the 25th show, and it is actually the final show of the season, season 1 of the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl Show. So very excited. You can't comment on YouTube. Should be able to. I never turned it off. I guess Allison, other people are commenting, so see if you can. So other people are commenting on YouTube. Okay, very good. All right, well, we'll get going on here. This is the 25th show again. It's the last one of the season, season 1 of the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show. And we are going to come back in the fall with Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show season 2. That is if Yahweh is willing and the rock moves upon us to continue. And I think so, but always at his lead. So this is the biblical date it's the 3rd month and the 10th day in the year 6018 from creation. And the countdown to Shavuot is 1 day, tomorrow, which you kind of have it's kind of like a full weekend. I've always thought, well, I'm talking to Isaac, he's sitting right here, but I've always thought, Isaac, like, you had 3 times a year that everyone was supposed to show up in Jerusalem, and you have this, in the spring, you have a 7-day feast where, you could go up for a whole week, and in the fall, you have a, 7-day feast or 8-day feast where you go for the whole, 8 days, but I was just thinking Shavuot's 1 day. It's like, that's a lot of travel for 1 day. So they probably had a full weekend of activities, wouldn't you say? And then also the idea of, that my friend Wendy pointed out was that 3 days prior to Shavuot is when Papa said, go get yourself ready to come to the base of the mountain. So she likes to prepare 3 days before mikvahing and all that stuff. And we actually practiced that yesterday. So anyway, we've got a lot of story to tell you. But anyway, I was thinking about that, so it's kind of a weekend full of wonderful things. So today, it's Shabbat Shalom, Ladies of Teshuvah, and your families, and anyone else who is joining us. I just want to make sure that this isn't, my hair sometimes messes with the sound, so if it bothers you too much, just, oh well. I'm sorry. Okay. Your host today, I am your host today, Rebekah Bat Yehovah, and then Isaac Bena Bar Yehovah, aka Isaac and Rebekah Garvin. Timely, I can't remember. I don't know what somebody just posted. Anyway, I'm going to try to stop looking at that for now. Isaac's got it. He's watching. Anyway. We have been married for about 20 years, parents for 18, left religion 15 years ago. I've been a Melchizedek Feast diva for about 10 years, and we have hosted over 200 biblical feasts together as a family, in case you don't know who we are and this is your first time watching. For those of you who have watched before, you know all that. I say it every time because in case we have new people watch. And I have been doing ministry most of my whole life, but this has definitely been an incredible challenge this year to do the ladies' Facebook group with the Happy Hebrew Girl show and the midweek. I have loved it. It has been a massive challenge, though, technically wise, and we're going to actually overview season 1. I have pictures for you later on in the show, so we're going to actually look at where we've come from. All you ladies who have journeyed with me since the very beginning to now, we're gonna have a fun time talking about what has gone down over the last year. That, well, actually hasn't been a year. We've been doing this since November of 2017. So welcome to a show that is dedicated to transforming your head knowledge into heart knowledge. What you read, what you study, what you learn, the da'at that comes into your head. I want to help you transform that into what is more important, which is heart knowledge. So the information, the da'at that comes into your head has a reason, has a purpose. And I don't want you to ever forget this. No matter what, I really want you to go into the summer remembering that the da'at, everything that you learn, has a reason for being. The purpose of it is to move your heart into yada, move your heart into intimacy with Papa, into heart knowledge. Love. Love, you don't love with your head. You have understanding with your head so that your heart can fall in love. Okay, so that is what I am so dedicated to trying to help Israel do. And also, this is a show for the Melchizedek Priesthood. So again, we are not Messianic. We are not Hebrew roots. We are not Christians. We are not Jews. We are Melchizedek priests of Yahshua HaMoshiach. And we feel that this is super important to make a distinction between, because of issues we see and ditches we see on both sides of the road with Christianity and then Messianic Judaism, Hebrew roots over here, Christianity over here. And so we have been trying to help do what Yohanan ben Zechariah said to do, and that is make clear paths, make straight, level paths for the king, for his bride. So we're trying to help clear out the rubble, clear out the paths, and clear out the chaos for his priesthood, for his bride, betrothed bride. So, and also this is a show to help get you on and stay on the narrow path. And the narrow path is the Melchizedek understanding. It is the Melchizedek priesthood. So we want to show you what that is. That's my goal. So anyway, yes, it's been quite a day, quite a week. I feel like we were just here. I feel like I was just, it feels like after the show, Isaac, we're done with the show, get that Shabbat rest, after, and then it feels like by the time Monday comes, it's Friday almost in my head, because I'm just going so fast. Anyway, to prepare and stuff. But today we're going to look at some of the new new covenant benefits. So I'm calling them new contract Benis. So we're going to look at some of those. So this is Shavuot. Shavuot is a time to look at the first Melchizedek contract that was made between the Creator and Israel at the base of Mount Sinai. And it's a time to look forward, as Melchizedek priests of Yahshua, we're going to look forward to when Yahshua fulfilled it by leaving, telling everybody to stay and wait for the promise that was going to come, and the outpouring of the Ruach that did come on that Shavuot when 3,000 souls were saved that day, and the Ruach, the pillar of fire broke apart and landed in fire on top of everyone. So there were contract benefits for this first Melchizedek contracts, but there are contract benefits for the second contract, or the superior new Melchizedek covenant that was made between Yahweh and Israel through the gift of the Ruach and the work of his son. So we're going to talk about that for just a little bit later on. But before that, I have a little Shavuot Basics Part 2 trailer for you, because I finally finished Shavuot Basics Part 2. Yay! Thank you, Isaac. Now, Isaac just watched it this morning, and he thinks it's a good video, right?
Excellent
video. So basically we had Shavuot Basics Part 1 that I did, and then I had that second one that I did. Both of them are, this first one's I think it's an hour and a half, something like that, hour and 40 minutes, and the second one is almost 2 hours, because Shavuot is so important. It is so important. It's been making that video, number one, took me 2 years to get to making. And then I really pushed through a lot of different odds last year to do it. And I did it, but I had the footage and I never edited it because I just didn't have time. And then this year, I pushed this year to edit it and get it done, and it is up on YouTube. Yay! So I have a little trailer for you so you can kind of see what that is like. So hopefully you can go watch that this Shavuot season. And then I have a little show and tell for you, and we're going to do a wrap up, and got a little wonderful story to tell you about what happened yesterday with a cougar, Maggie, and Mikvahs. Cougar, Maggie, Mikvahs, MMC. All right, a few announcements for the Ladies of Teshuvah. I have a special gift for you, ladies who meet back with me in the group right after the show. I'm going to go live there for just a little bit and just say hello and goodbye for the summer. But I have but it's a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is until you actually get it in the mail, okay? Or in the email, or I don't know, it could be another way you're going to get it. Isaac, would you go ahead and put on the subscribe slide? So I just want two slides here that I want Isaac to post for me. It's the subscribe one. I think it's the first one. Yeah. So I would like you to take action right now and subscribe to the YouTube channel below. Just subscribe and then like the video that you're watching here. It helps in ratings. That's really the only reason. The other thing I want you to subscribe to is our e-newsletter. Now, I want you to remember that I'm not actually going to publish any more e-newsletters this summer. The last one went out yesterday until right before Yom Teruah. Then we'll pick up again with doing those e-newsletters. But you could get on the list, and then you'll get those when they come. I'm up to 97 people. I cleared it out from 630 down, narrowed it down to 97 people who really want our stuff. So if you really want our stuff, which newsletters has other things in it, and please get on that. And also Ladies of Teshuvah, Ladies of Repentance, Ladies of the Turning. If you want to join the Facebook group called Ladies of Teshuvah, please do. We will be picking back up with the midweek show and the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show next fall, 1 week before Yom Teruah. But you are welcome to join this summer. It's going to be pretty quiet there, but there are wonderful ladies there. And there's a ton of stuff that you can go through, tons of videos you can watch and that sort of thing. So please go over there if you are not already. And the next thing I wanted to invite you to do is go ahead and click that slide there. I would love to implore you to not, if you are giving some donations and some help for us to keep doing this, don't pull them for the summer, because I'm going to be so busy this summer still doing ministry. I'm just going to be in the background doing stuff that I can't do while I'm doing this show. It's just I can't do both at the same time. So please, if you have not already signed up to give a love gift and offering, please do. I know it's Shabbat, and I'm not asking for you to do that today, but I am asking to plant the seed in your head that we do need your love and support so we can keep the programs we have, so the equipment that we need, and keep growing, but also keep what we already have. So it's not just about growing, it's about keeping what we have going, because we definitely feel passionate about doing this and put a lot of our own money and time into this, where struggle constantly. So a few of you have been giving a recurring love a gift. So I ask, 2 ways to do that. You can do it through Patreon, become a patron, so that's like a monthly thing that you would do for as little as $12 a month, as well as, or you can go to PayPal and give a donation that way, a one-time donation. Okay, go ahead and take that off. The other thing that I don't have a slide for right now is the Ladies of Teshuvah convention. Registration closed yesterday at 5 o'clock. We had one lady who got in right before the deadline and registered, so she's going to join us. I think we have a nice handful. We have let's see, I've got about, I think 11, 12 with me. I think we'll have a really nice, wonderful time in Colorado. If by chance you still want to go to Colorado, I'm making phone calls on Tuesday, so you have time to contact me. It's closed, but contact me if you really, really want to come, and just contact me through the website, or however. There's contact information here in the description. You can get a hold of me. Or in the ladies group, but also the online registration for attending the conference online is closing July 19th, so you still have plenty of time to do that. All right, so yay. Thank you, ladies, for who is coming. I am going to start to focus on you and stop trying to get people to come. Now it's time to focus on you and focus on the convention and what we're going to, the power, the things that we're going, it's just going to be so powerful. You are going to really be happy that you came. Okay, and the next year, all the ladies who wanted to come, who couldn't afford to come and make it work, then we are so excited to have you come the next year. All right, the link to register for that is in the bottom here, but that is no longer available for online. Okay, so it is the seventh counting of the seventh Shabbat in the counting of the Omer, because remember, you count 7 Shabbats, 7 weeks, full weeks, and then the next day is you add one more day, and that is Shavuot. So, or you count 50 days from first. Remember, there's 2 ways to get to Shavuot. So I'm just curious how you all counted. How did you do the counting? My friend Wendy taught me this year this really cool thing we're going to add to next year. I do layered cake. We tried layered popsicles and it didn't work, so we're going to just stick with layered cake. But we've ended up putting our layered cake into little jars, mason jars, and I love that. So I think we're going to continue to do that next year. But with every layer of the cake, as it grows throughout the weeks, I'm going to add 2 Peter 1:5-8 to that. And so the first layer would be goodness. And the whole thing is faithfulness. And then to that you add goodness, and then knowledge and self-control and perseverance, godliness, mutual affection, and love. And so the week before Shavuot will be the layer of love. How cool is that? And we'll explore those topics next year as we go through the counting. I just love that. It's like, don't worry about getting everything perfect the first time out of the gate. If you're new to celebrating the feast, one of the neatest things is that you begin to walk in that, and you take whatever you know about it, and you just add to it year after year as you learn more new things, and you say, oh, I want to remember that, I don't want to forget that. You'll write things down. You'll create new little traditions. You know, you don't have to panic about doing it perfect the first time. In fact, sometimes the best times in our experience have been the most simple, back at the very beginning. So I'm just trying to model how that looks, you know. Anyway. All right, so I have for you a little trailer that Isaac's going to play from my Shavuot Basics Part 2 that is finished, that I just finished and got up on YouTube yesterday. So it's the down, yeah, right there. Yeah. Nation of Melchizedek priests. That was his goal. Instead of just firstborn to firstborn to firstborn, he was going to make it now for everyone to be a nation of royal priests unto him. He was going to bless the world through Abraham by creating this nation of royal priests and have them go out into the world and bring people into covenant with him, bring people into Israel so that they could get to the happily ever after. That was the goal, to teach everyone about his royal law of love, to teach everyone about him and about his heart of love. That was his goal. That's one of the jobs of a Melchizedek priest, is to teach others about Papa, about his heart, about this royal law, about love and what that looks like. This position of royal priests, of being a royal priesthood, Israel had to make an agreement with Papa. And the agreement that Yahweh wanted was, he chose a blood covenant. He chose something that looks like a marriage. All right, it was a marriage type arrangement that he chose, that he asked Israel to enter into, so that he could go ahead and make good on what he promised. It's called the first Melchizedek Contract. This is the agreement that Israel was entering into with Papa there at the base of Mount Sinai. All right, so I'm sorry about that. It was squished. So I think I just didn't export it in the right way from my phone, which I figured out earlier, but I forgot to do this time. But that video was squished, so it looked a little weird, but it's nice if you go to the YouTube channel and watch that. So there is a little clip of what I've been working on for many years. I think that you will be blessed by it. I pray that you are. All right, so just continuing forward this morning, again, I just have a note in here of a slide that I wanted to just make sure that you understand. This is the last Happy Hippie Hebrew Girls show of the series of season 1, but I'll be back in the fall. We'll have a summer break. Season 2 will actually begin, and I have a date for you. Wait, September 11. I think September 11 was Yom Teruah this year, so I guess I don't. Sometime in September. Sometime in September we will be back live, right a week before Yom Teruah, so we'll be able to talk about Yom Teruah before Yom Teruah. That's my goal. I hope that you, I don't know, if you're part of Ladies of Teshuvah group and whatnot, I just encourage you to go enjoy the summer. Just get off cyberspace as much as you can. Enjoy the summer. Get your hands in the dirt, your feet in the sand, the sun on your skin. Go be with your family and love. Just love others. Love Yahweh Elohim, your Elohim, and I encourage you to also, I think one thing that I'm feeling moved to encourage you on is not to be what Papa called a she-camel in heat. Okay, so this is a characteristic trait of Israel. Israel tends to be, Isaac, maybe you do. No, that's okay. Do you have what you need? Okay. All right, cool. Anyway, Israel tends to be a she-camel in heat, as in Papa called her a she-camel in heat. And what I mean by that is, if you look at a camel and they're in heat in the desert and they're just romping around, foaming at the mouth and everything, trying to find another lover. Another lover, they don't find love, but another mate. They're trying to mate, and it looks pretty disgusting. And I find it pretty hilarious that Papa called Israel a she-camel in heat, but I understand why. Because what we have seen for a long time, is that Israel tends to see something they like, they are moved by it, and then as soon as they're done reading that book or reading that teaching or studying that teaching and they're done, they move on to something else. They got to find something else. What else is out there? Give me the next book. Give me the next thing. Instead of sitting with that, whatever it is that moved your heart, whatever it is that stirred your heart, sit with that for a while. I mean, you really can't sit with something too long. I mean, this is why I think the feasts are his lesson plan, is because he's like, I don't want you rushing off into Shavuot, because it's not Shavuot yet. It is still Passover. Or like right now, we're in Shavuot. It's the proper time to talk about all things Shavuot that has, there's all kinds of subjects that you can explore that he wants to teach us during Shavuot. But we are not to right now be looking at the fall feast. We've got to finish Shavuot. So you finish Shavuot, then you start preparing for Yom Teruah. But this idea where, Israel tends to go out and read a book. Oh, wow, that was so cool. And then move on to where's the next thing. So that is like the she-camel in heat. So I'm going to encourage you this summer to sit with what you've already learned. Sit with what you know. Sit with what you've been taught. Sit with what, the Ruach has already taught you and what Papa has moved you into. Sit with that. It's good. It's good enough for right now. And let them teach you and let them bring you the new stuff that they want later. Sometimes they have to sit with you for a while with these things in order to get them solid in your heart, so that they don't go away, so that when you do receive new stuff, that the truth that you did learn doesn't go away, so that it becomes part of you, and it doesn't vaporize with or get replaced with the new stuff. So I just encourage you to do that this summer. Okay? All right. All right, I need you to do the slides, if you could, for inviting Yahshua. Okay, so we're going to just say the prayer together, the prayer that Yahshua taught us to pray. It's called, we know it as the Lord's Prayer. We're going to go ahead and do that in Hebrew. And I think they're at the top. Oh, they got kind of, it's okay. Just, they look different there, but they're still big. There you go. All right, starting with the first slide. And some of you can definitely say these all by yourself. This is called the Aveeno prayer again. It's called, all right, the Aveeno prayer, which is the prayer to our Father. So we're going to say, Our Father in heaven, may your name be sanctified. Okay, Aveeno Shabashamayim Yitkadesh Shimcha. Aveeno Shabashamayim Yitkadesh Shimcha. Next slide is, may your kingdom be blessed, your will shall be done in heaven and on earth. V'id barek melchutha retzenha yiyeh asui b'shamayim uva'aretz. You want to say it again? V'id barek melchutha retzenha yiyeh asui b'shamayim uva'aretz. And then give us our bread continually. Oops. Is that one not it? It should be... No. Go up to the little one right there. Up, little one right there. Right there. Yeah. Give us our bread continually. V'titein lach menu timidit. V'titein lach menu timidit. And it, yeah. Forgive the debt of our sins as we forgive the debt of those who sin against us. Umechol lanu chatotenu ka'asher anachnu mohalim lachotim lanu. Say it again. Umechol lanu chatotenu ka'asher anachnu mohalim lachotim lanu. And then do not bring us into the hands of a test. Vial tivi'inu lidei nidzion. Vial tivi'inu lidei nidzion. And then the final one, protect us from all evil or peril. V'shom rinu mikorah. V'shom rinu mikorah. V'shom rinu mikorah. There you go. Very good. Thank you. I know. Next season I'm going to have, I've been studying open broadcast system, and so basically the idea is that I will be able to work on my computer. I'll be able to manage that from my computer, and so I can put up all the slides on their full, so that you can really see them clear. Instead of Isaac sitting there pushing the buttons, I can do it from here, and that will be so much smoother. So, all right, sanctifying the name, girls. We are going to tell the story. If you want to come over here, I know that this year this week in the ladies group, we had Eliana's dog was lost, and then it became found right before she went on the Shavuot camping trip. I know that Charmin's water in her house wasn't on, and now it is on for Shavuot. How cool is that? I know that we're praying for Melissa in the ladies group, who is in Arizona dealing with health issues and stuff, but we know that she is healed in the name of Yahshua. And and then there's some other things in the ladies group that are pretty amazing. But we have for you a little story of our own that happened yesterday. So I think I'm going to ask, Isaac, I'm going to have you play the little, Maggie, here, I'm going to have you do it. I know you haven't done this before. Go on the other side. So we're going to play, I'm going to play like it's a 30-second, no, it's a minute and something video. Slide that way. It's of Isaac's Mikvah yesterday. So see that right there? Yeah, just click on that. Hit me live. Okay, now go ahead and click that live. I don't know, that wasn't working. Do you have to click off the pause? Off of what? No, shouldn't have to. Try it one more time, will you? Lost the feed? Is it?
Oh no, the sound just goes away when it's live.
Right. Okay, so here, let me try to do this. I want you to see this. So let me, Hadassah, I'm going to have you scoot over just a bit. There we go. All right. Maybe I'll have you sit right there. Let's see if I can find this. And we're going to turn this way anyway. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to try add video. Video files. No. Let me see. Okay, clear. Delete. All right, let's see if I can add video file. I think, do you see what, can you see this, what's the, these two, is there one that's what's the time?
23:13.
Okay, do this one. All right. I think. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so that was Isaac's mikvah from yesterday. Okay, Isaac, go ahead and sit down and I'll make sure that we're all in the frame. All right, are we all in the frame? Huh? Oops. There we go. Let's see if I can get, I'm going to pull this back. How are we there? There? Okay. Is it there? Oh my God.
Yes.
There, we'll just, is that good? Here, we'll just pull this out just a little bit. Okay, there we are at the family. Here, do you want to sit kind of in between just a little bit? You're good. Okay. All right, so Hadassah, come scoot down just a little bit with me. All right, so I played. Okay, so that was Isaac's mikvah. Why don't you cuddle up just there, because put your arm around her. So there you go. So you have to like, just so you can cuddle in. There you go. Okay, because this is a super cool story. This is so cool. I don't know if I don't know. This is super cool. Okay, so this is what happened yesterday. I have actually laid out time. Okay, so yesterday, Isaac and Hadassah and I were in town. Maggie was out at the cabin by herself with the dogs, and yesterday was Friday, and we were out doing errands and stuff, and Maggie was doing, she was cleaning for Shabbat actually at the cabin. She was doing an overhaul of the cabin and making dinner. And we have some neighbors, so we live in a little log cabin, and the neighbors were there. They were out in the field getting ready for their horses to go out to pasture. So they were banging in
T-posts.
T-posts.
They were building fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, out on the edge of the property.
Out of the edge of the property. And here, well, I can't take that out right now. Our other microphone just died. That's what he's been trying to fix. So just speak up, I suppose. Okay, so all right, let me wrap my brain around this. At about 3, I don't know, what was it, 3:15, 3 o'clock, something like that. Probably 3:15. Hadassah and Daddy and I, the three of us, decided we were done with stuff, and we decided we were going to go to the beach before we went home because it was pretty hot yesterday. So the three of us went down to the beach, and we laid out our blankets, and we were like, slathered up with oil, and it was wonderful. And he was loving the sun. Okay, I was slathered in oil. That's me. Right, Hadassah? Hadassah like instantly wants to get in the water, and so she's playing on the little, what was it? Little floaty thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Isaac's just crashed on the ground because he's super tired from a hard week. So that's about 3:15. So about 3:22, I have times here. 3:22, Maggie sends me a photo of her mikvah. So she actually decides to do a mikvah out at the creek on our property. So you have our cabin. If any of you have seen a picture, I've showed pictures before of our little cabin. Out in front of our cabin, there is like this beautiful windy road. We're in the mountains, but it's like the only flat spot in the mountains where we live. And there's this windy road with this little bridge on our property, and the road goes, but there's this river that goes down. It's seasonal, but there was water in it yesterday. And so it was pretty hot, and Maggie's like, I think I'll go do a mikvah. So again, we were thinking about, perhaps you were thinking, I don't know whether you were thinking this, but I'm thinking this, of preparing for Shavuot earlier this year instead of doing the mikvah right on Shavuot. Maybe we'll do it before and get ready for Shavuot. So she was doing that. So she sent me this text with this picture of her back at the cabin with herself all wet, and she's like, hey, I mikvahed, kind of thing. She had taken the dogs down with her and gotten them in the water as well. So about 3:35, then and at the time, she just told me earlier this morning, when she shot that picture and sent it to me, she thought, maybe I should go back and get all my hair, because she had her hair up in a bun, and her hair is really thick, and so when she went under the water, her hair went under the water, but when she let it down, it was kind of dry. So she was thinking, oh, maybe I should go back and get the whole thing all wet again, right? That's what you were thinking. Scary thought. All right. And I actually texted her, and I said, didn't I? Texted you and said, Did you go under all the way? Because it didn't look like her hair was her wet. Anyway, at 3:35, then we were on the beach, and I began to think, hey, I think we should go mikvah. So I kept saying, hey, do you guys want to do the mikvah now? And Isaac was just kind of laying there like, I'm too tired to do anything. Hadass is already in the water, and I'm like feeling moved that this is the time that he wants us to do the mikvah. We've done mikvah of purification. We've done all the mikvahs. We've done mikvah of identification before and all this, but just felt like we feel like every Shavuot we want to get in the water.
I did like a mikvah of purification.
Is that what you did?
Before I renewed my covenant.
Oh. Can they hear you?
No.
Okay. I want them to hear you. Okay, so speak up. Say that one more time.
I did a mikvah of purification before I renewed my covenant with him on Shavuot.
Tomorrow.
So
Very cool.
do another one tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, very nice. Okay. So then that's what I started saying, let's do our mikvah. And so we're at a different location than Maggie. At 3:55, the neighbors, we have neighbors Andrew and Jamie who are building fence posts, who have the horses and stuff. They stop what they're doing. So they're on the edge of the woods with the creek flowing. There's a creek there that flows, two creeks. So there's a creek in front of us that tees into the longer creek, and they're over there on the side of the mountain building the fence posts there. So they're over there. They stop. They have their little dog out running around everywhere. Get on their four-wheeler and ride back to the house, their big lodge that's behind ours. Get back. Jamie goes inside, and Andrew goes out on the porch, and he sits down on the swing. He's really tired. It's really hot. He sits down on the swing. He looks out at the field, and as he's looking out, he can see our cabin, and beyond us is the field, so he can see all pretty well. And all of a sudden, out from where they had just been working, here comes this cougar. And we're not talking small cougar. We're talking huge cougar. We're talking, he thought it was a lion. It had a tail. What do you say, Isaac?
Yep.
About this big. A tail about this big with a black tip. And they figured out it was a male because it was probably over 200 pounds. Huge cougar. Came out of the woods where they had just been, and where did they walk, Maggie? I mean, where did it walk?
Right towards where I had just been.
It walked right towards where she had just been in the river. So it walked on this side of the bridge. She had been right at the bridge. It walked this side of the bridge across like this, and then it turned around and because Andrew was on the porch, and Andrew started yelling at the girls to come out to see, and it scared the cat, and the cat went back the way it came. So after it crouched down, so it crouched down first. So that was at 3:50. So at 3:55, they came out of the woods, went up on the deck. At 4 o'clock, Andrew saw the cat. At 4:15, he's running around trying to find his rifle because he's not going to hurt the cat. He just wants to get rid of it. So he finally gets his out of storage. He gets his rifle because they just moved, so everything's in boxes. Finally gets his rifle, gets out on the four-wheeler, runs back gets over to the woods where the cat had gone back into the woods where they had just been, and he is looking for the cat, really, and and then all of a sudden, what was it like? All of a sudden, the cat jumps out of a tree that's near him about, what did he say, how many yards?
Maybe 20 yards.
20 yards away, jumps out of the tree and goes whoosh, right by him. And so then he takes his rifle and starts shooting into the sky to scare it, to get it scared to go, to leave, because he don't want it on our property. But it's like 27 acres, and we're right at the end of the road, so we're backed up to Forest Service land and huge mountains behind us. And so Isaac thinks, well, what do you think? That it was, you both think the cat was trying to...
That's what we're hoping, is that it was just passing through.
Yeah, I think it was just passing through.
That it was just passing through to get to the big
it wouldn't
woods.
have been in the field
And it was
during
waiting.
the day.
Yeah.
We're hoping it was just waiting for them to leave so it could get across the open and into the big woods on the other side.
Right.
For the rest of the day. But
so then at 4, but here's the timing. I timed us out because I was taking pictures. I take pictures throughout the course of my day, my life. I don't know. I'm just a picture snob. But at 4:45 is when I shot that video of Isaac mikvahing. So this is 4:45. So Andrew's out there at 4:15. to 4:15 to 4:30 with this cougar running by him. Isaac does the mikvah at nearly the same time, and then I do a mikvah, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. It was the most powerful mikvah I have ever had in my whole life, and I'll tell you about that in a second. And then at 6:15, we're home, we're getting on that windy road that goes up to the cabin, and I say, we have no idea about a cougar. We have no idea this whole thing's transpired. She doesn't even know. Well, she knew.
I knew.
You knew after.
I thought about texting you and telling you to stay in the car when you come home.
She didn't, but what she didn't know was how close she was in timing to when that cat came through. But I'm like, oh, just let me out and I'll walk, and Isaac can give Hadassah. What did Daddy give you last night?
Dad teach me how to drive a truck.
Yeah, so she got a little driving lesson last night. I was like, oh, I popped out of the truck and I wanted to walk this road. I'm like, oh, la 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 la, beautiful day. I'm walking down the road. They drive past me towards the cabin, and Maggie's standing outside the cabin, just standing there. And I'm looking at her going far away. I'm like, oh, she's going to come walk with me. She doesn't move. She doesn't come out. She's just looking, and I'm like, why doesn't she come out and walk home with me? Now I know why she didn't.
Scanning the field to make sure there wasn't anything out there.
Scanning because I didn't know anything. But here's the mikvah that I had. So right after Isaac mikvahed, I decided that I wanted to mikvah, but I wanted to do it really alone. So then I walked down the beach towards that we were between two kind of bushy trees. So the beach had a few trees on it and bushes, and so we were in this little section that was kind of banked by two bushes of whatevers, and then so I walked past them and to this long beach that was kind of by myself, so it was kind of secluded on some level. There was no one there, and I'm walking down and I'm praying the whole way. All I'm doing is like beginning to pray. I'm beginning to tell Papa, my heart. I'm just pouring it out and just saying thank you for this and that, and this is what I want. I want to be yours. I want to be set apart. I want to have your rock in me, this sort of thing. I get down to the end where the blackberry briars are, and I turn towards the water because I was going to walk in. And as I turned to the water, closed my eyes, and I just looked up and I let the sun kind of just really hit strong on me and kind of just do away with everything else. And I opened my eyes, and as soon as I opened my eyes, here's this goose. This goose, have I told you this? I haven't told Maggie this. Here's this goose standing in the water. Standing. He's not sitting, he's standing. And all he's doing is looking at me. So we're 5 feet apart, literally 5 feet apart. He's just, he came out of nowhere. I didn't see him before I closed my eyes. I didn't see any goose. And all of a sudden there's this goose sitting there, and he's looking at me. And all he's doing is looking. And I look at him, and I kind of move towards him, and he stays right there. He doesn't move. And I said, hey, you want to witness my mikvah? And he just looks at me. And I was like, okay. So I just closed my eyes. This is the most powerful mikvah I've ever had in my life. I closed my eyes, and I started walking forward. And the water, it is the river. It's the Spokane River, so it's cold. It's moving water, but it was super cold. She can stay in it for hours. I don't know how she stays in it. You just love the water. You just stay in. I'm like, get in, get out, girlfriend. Anyway, I normally don't get in water until July if I can help it. But anyway, and most of the time, honestly, every time we've mikvahed before, it's been really hard because you're so stressed with the cold that you can hardly concentrate on what you're doing. So anyway, so this time I just closed my eyes and I started walking forward, and all I kept thinking was, I'm going to enter into his death. And as the cold kind of creeped up. It was so cold, and I could feel like gasping. I was like, and I just kept going. I didn't stop. I was like, okay, I'm yours. And I just went underwater, just fell underwater. And I just brought my feet up off the ground, off the bottom of the river, and I just floated down just a little bit, just to, like you say, just let go and let Papa have you. The idea of the water is Elohim, and you're going to let them have you completely. So I just entered in all the way underwater. I was like, okay, I'm dying with you. And I just went underwater and picked my feet up and floated down just a little bit. And then I came up and I turned around and walked back, and the goose was still looking at me. And I just, yeah. And I was like, oh, I was so joyful. And I was just so moved by that moment. I don't know. It was super amazing. And then this goose was standing there. It was really bizarre. And this was about, let's see, when was I? Oh, I didn't even write down when my mikvah was. Oh, yeah, no. It was about that same time as all this was happening with the cougar and stuff. And I turned around, I started walking. So I got up on the beach, and the goose was like 5 feet over here. I walked around it, and I started walking, and he sat down in the water and started swimming right next to me as I'm walking. And it's a pretty long beach, and he just paralleled me, swimming right next to me, looking at me. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool? I'm like, okay, so I have a goose as a witness to my mikvah. But I feel like Papa sent the goose to not only just make the moment so incredibly cool, but also later, you know, when you have the idea of the cougar now near us, hopefully he's passed through. But I really feel like here's a wild animal, a cougar, here's a wild animal, a goose, and the goose, you know, in my opinion, was just hindsight, looking back. Not only did it make that mikvah powerful for me, but also just the idea of, you know, it's okay. It's all right. You know, I got you covered. I got you in a bubble. I got you protected. You know, the cougar, when Andrew and I talked, Andrew came by this morning and talked to us about that. And he's like, oh, wow. Because the cougar, in his opinion, from his sight, and when he saw it, would have walked either over the bridge where you were or under it right where you were. You know, right up the creek, right where you were. Because part of it was dry, so it was rocky, and part of it was still flowing, or a little bit whatever she was in. But it could have been a totally different story. But Maggie, I want you to know, again, that Papa really, really, really has something for you. Something so incredible. I mean, he has saved her life so many times. I mean, all of our lives. He has saved our lives so many times. And I'm sure you have the same kind of stories. And I have a lot of stories from my 20s that I shouldn't even be here. But I look at my own daughter's life, my life aside, and our lives. I look at Maggie, and I think, you know, Hanukkah, a tree almost fell on her. Completely. I mean, that would have killed you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hanukkah, it was stormy, snowy. We pulled into where we were going to, at the cabin where we were going to stay for a while, and you couldn't get the door open, right? We were going to get out to go to the cabin. We were parked by a tree under a huge, what was it, Isaac?
Fir tree.
Huge fir tree.
Yeah, probably 150 feet tall.
150 feet tall. And you couldn't get out, right? How did that go?
Well, no, because I was going to make a phone call, and it was snowing so hard, and I didn't want to get my phone wet, but you were talking on the phone also, so I didn't want to interrupt yours. But I had to make this phone call, so I looked where I was going to go stand, right under this tree.
Oh, that's right.
That was dry. And then I couldn't get, something happened, I can't remember, something happened where it took a little longer than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And then when I finally got it up, the number up, I opened my door. I had a hard time getting it open, actually. And then right when I opened it to step out, I heard this loud crashing noise. And then I didn't know really what it was, so I shut my door really quick. And then half the tree just, like, collapsed, right?
How many branches was that?
And Hadassah and I and the caretaker, the owner at the bed and breakfast, saw it out the window.
Saw it happen.
Saw this avalanche fall out of this tree.
Yeah.
A branch broke, and it came down, and it brought 9
huge limbs.
Big limbs. Like, we're talking, like, 5-6 inch limbs down that would have weighed, you know.
Right
where she was standing.
So she would have had, you know, a ton and a half falling from almost 100 feet up in the air, 80 feet up, and it landed right where she would have been standing.
Right.
And so, and then that combined with, like, all the other things. I mean, 17 days old, you almost died of omphalitis. You know, 3 months old, you almost, like, died out of suffocating on your own vomit, which the rock pushed me into your room. So amazing. And then a year old, you had seizures and you stopped breathing, and I breathed life back into you. Never forget that when your eyes came back to me and the color came back. and then time after time, I've constantly told her, and then we were in a car, the three girls and I, or the two, we were three in a car somehow we were coming home on the freeway, and this kid, I'm driving, and I see this kid walk out on what is that called? Overpass. He's looking in my eyes, and it's like slow-mo when I think about it now. He's looking right at me, and he has this rock, this big rock, about this big, and he comes right over, and as he comes right over, and as I'm coming on right underneath him, he lets this rock go. And I just go, I just went, boom, okay. And I knew,
like 5 feet behind us.
it fell behind us, and I just know that the rock, or the angel of Yahweh was there, protecting. I feel like Israel's angel Michael has been extra busy with us, and there's so many things that we don't even know of. I know that there's so much, but I just really feel that, like, you get his blessing of protection when you walk in alignment with him. And I just really want to emphasize again, Maggie, in your life personally, that he has fabulous, wonderful, big things for you to do. For him. There's got to be something that I don't know yet, Maggie. But
Allison said,
Ruach
HaKodesh is training you to walk in no fear.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
That's good, Rush.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isaac, you're torn about seeing the cat, aren't you? Like.
Oh, just that I've never seen one, and I would like to see it, but not too close. And this one in particular, I hope to never see again.
Yeah. Because it means that it's moved on instead of
hanging around. We don't want it hanging around.
So, just that.
Yeah. I mean, out of 10 years of living in the woods,
I know.
We have never seen a cat and we didn't actually see it, but the idea that our neighbor saw it right where Maggie was 15 minutes earlier, woo-wee! That's the closest call. We've seen moose, we've seen all kinds of other little animals, we've even spotted bear and stuff, but we have never seen never had that close of a call, I don't think, in 10 years of living in the woods, even during our time with Canvas between us and the mountains. Right. And there we were even deeper in the woods than we are now. That was more wilderness, it felt like, than now. But so everyone, I want you to just remember that, Papa is probably protecting you more than you even know. And in the end, he will show you where he has kept you alive. And I look at Maggie and I'm like, you know what? I would just get down and say, boy, you saved my life. What do you want? Because I'm pretty much dead anyway. I'm dead now. Now I'm dead to this. Now what do you want? I want to be alive to you. I think that's the part of the whole.
Like I owe my life to him.
Yes. Yeah, and we all owe our lives to him anyway. But when you have something like that.
Like a literal.
Something very tangible like that, then basically it's like I'm already dead. I was dead. I was once dead. I basically died, so now I'm going to be alive to you. What do you want? Because you saved my life. That's how I feel about things, when I look at the Shavuot and I look at what he accomplished for us and the way and the narrow path. I know that we're already dead. I know that Hasatan's claim on us we're a done deal. The moment we're born, we're a done deal. And so he's put together this incredible rescue plan for us to walk out of this, this disaster, the sinking Titanic. We can get on a life raft and we can get out of here. And so I feel like I owe him everything. So I'm already dead. So what do you want me to do? I'm here to do whatever you want, Papa. Not here to build my own kingdom. I'm here to build yours. So whatever you do with your life, Megs, however he leads you, whatever skill sets you're going to learn right now in college and whatnot, all of that, focus it, funnel it right to him, right to what he wants you to do. I know, because you just, every time I turn around, he's like giving her something, saving her life. So, and he's doing the same for all of us, but I get the privilege of watching this with you. Oh, yay, thank you. So just praise Yahweh Elohim, praise Yahweh Elohim for, for that cat.
Yep.
not even being hungry, not hunting, just coming and going. And the thing was huge, he said. Huge.
It's like a shape of a fox or like a beaver.
He's like a cat,
something.
like Senka, only
50
huge.
times
You know Senka?
Yeah.
Make Senka like
Like
huge,
Lion
like Lion King.
Well, yeah, Lion King. The shape of a lion, like that big.
Like huge.
But a bunny is not that huge.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many times have we hunted morels with our head down in the woods? I mean, you're hunting morels, head down in the woods, or, you know, getting firewood. I mean, we have been out in remote locations getting firewood, or hiking. Or Isaac and I got into a fight one time, and I ran out the cabin, and I ran up into the woods. And I just sat there, and I was crying, and then he came up after me and found me, and, I mean...
Or huckleberry picking.
Huckleberry picking.
We're out in the woods.
Yeah. All right, guys. So go ahead and thank you for joining me for that story. They're going to take off now. Or they're not taking off. They're just leaving this set. So take our story with you, and don't be spiritually complacent. Don't be lazy. Don't think, you know, there's not evil out there set against you. But also don't forget that Papa is going to be for you, and he wants to protect you. But he needs you to do what he asks you to do in order for him to be able to come through for you. So, and yeah, don't give into the spirit of fear either, right, Hadassah? Yeah. No fear. It'd be, hey, kitty, come here. No, not really. I wonder what Daniel, what went through his heart when he met those lions face to face. Wow. All right, so Hebrews 6:2 talks about different mikvahs, and I just wanted to just quickly talk about mikvah. There's a mikvah of water, there's a mikvah of fire, there's a mikvah of the ruach. Interesting that the fire and ruach, I thought they were the same, but it does clarify, it does say both. It says mikvah of fire and the mikvah of the ruach. So, and you can look in Hebrews 6:2 and see some of that. If you're interested about the mikvah, Michael Rood has a fabulous teaching about the mikvah of doctrines. I guess Hebrews 6:2 talks about more like there is a doctrine of mikvahs, plural. So Michael Rood explores the different kinds of mikvahs that there are. It's interesting. Yohanan ben Zechariah, or John the Baptist, said that the Messiah would come to mikvah us with fire. So what that really looks like, I'm really not certain, except that, when the clouds busted apart and the fire came and mikvahed the people that were gathered there, there's definitely that. But if there's a continuation of that, fire, I have a whole teaching on, and something that we talk about in the fall feast, we talk about, or is it Hanukkah? I can't remember. We talk about the all-consuming fire, and how the idea that he has to send you through the fire to purify you, so you can be metal, so you can be gold, so you can withstand his intenseness. His, Yahweh Elohim is the all-consuming fire. And if you're not perfected, you're not going to live through that moment. So the idea is that he wants to perfect you. He wants to get you all the chaff getting away. He wants to get you, to where you are pure gold, and you can get through that fire that's going to come. And so part of all the trials and the testing now and everything is to do good work in you, to hammer out the, like silver. You have to hammered silver. You have to hammer it till it becomes pure. That's kind of the same thing here. And what I believe the mikvah of the fire is, it's not necessarily a one-time thing, but a process of going through the fires. But I'm no expert on this for sure. So, but I want to read Matthew 3:10-11 with you. I have it right here. Otherwise, I'd open my scriptures. But it says, he said, this is what Yahshua said. The axe is now laid to the root of the trees. Every tree that does not bring forth good fruit will be hewn down and cast into the fire. I indeed mikvah you in water. Oh, this isn't Yeshua, excuse me. This is Yohanan ben Zechariah. I indeed mikvah you in water in this day of repentance. But he that comes after me, Yeshua, is mightier than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to unloose. He will mikvah you with the fire of the Ruach HaKodesh. His winnowing fan is in his hand. He will thoroughly purge his threshing floor and gather the wheat into his grain bin, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. Matthew 3:10-11. So I think that's interesting that the mikvah that is in the middle of him talking about good fruit, good trees, bad trees, chaff and wheat and all that. I think it's pretty incredible that he talks about the mikvah right in the middle of all this. The mikvah of water and the mikvah of fire and the mikvah of the rock. Right in the middle of all that. And like I said, I have a teaching video on the mikvah. If you're interested in this, today's show is not about this, but I wanted to read these few texts here. Luke 3:16 says, Yahshua shall mikvah you with the Ruach HaKodesh and with fire. So it seems like there's two different ones there. And then Mark 1:8 says, I mikvah you with water, but he shall mikvah you with the Ruach HaKodesh. So I want to just tell a quick little story about one of my mikvahs with the Ruach HaKodesh on Shavuot in 2010. So in 2010, we are preparing for Shavuot, and it is Shabbat night, Saturday night, and I am upstairs. We're in a little house downtown. This is on our way out of the city into our wilderness time, but I am upstairs, and we are in the middle of losing everything, but it doesn't matter. We stopped everything, and we're throwing a feast for Papa. And so we have this big shindig the next day, but I am preparing my heart the day before. I'm upstairs. The girls are in bed. I am searching for music. So I love music. I think music is so important to attach to the feast because they really like all your senses. Your smell. You're going to have certain smells at the feast. You're going to have certain sights and sounds. You're also going to have certain sound like music. So I'm praying. I'm like, show me some good music for the Feast of Shavuot. Something that stirs my heart. Something that really, really speaks to my heart and what you feel you want me to know during this Shavuot season. So I'm just doing like one little Google search, and I'll never forget. All I did was one. I can't remember what I typed in, but what came up was Carrie Joby's one of Carrie Joby's song. I think it's My Beloved, and it starts to play, and up in the office, I remember we had stairs going up, and the light from the kitchen was flowing upstairs, but I had the lights off upstairs, and I remember I had my earphones in, and so I could make it real loud, and it was just me up there. And as soon as I heard that, I was undone. I fell to the floor. It was his song to me. It was My Beloved, and I can't play it for you right here, but I will put maybe a link to it or something. I'll try to link you to her song. But it was his song to me. It said his words to me about me being his beloved, and how I was his bride, and how it was so beautiful. It just felt like it washed over me. But what was super cool was I got done with that song, and there had two different songs had come up by Carrie Joby. I don't know how you're saying it. Job, I don't know. Anyway, 2 songs had come up, and that's the one I clicked on first. And then when that song was done, I was in tears. I was on the floor, but I ended up getting up, looking at the computer again, and I clicked on the second song. And I right before this video, right before the show today, I went and thought I remembered the song names, but this next one was my reaction to him. It was like him saying, here's my heart for you, my beloved. I'm going to sing this song to you. So he sang that song to me, and then he gave me a song to tell my heart how to react to him. Whoa! I came undone, like in just sobbing in tears. I could feel the flow of the rock in me. I knew what this feast was about. It was like I felt Papa's fingerprints all over it. I felt like he had singed into my heart what this feast was about, that he was my bridegroom, and I was his bride, and this was how he was going to come for me, and this is how I was going to respond back. And it was beautiful because it led my heart into worship. It led my heart right back into this response to him. I had something about, let me fall back on your arms, let me lay into and hear your heartbeat kind of thing. That was part of the words of that song. So that was one of my mikvahs of the rock right before we entered the Feast of Shavuot. But I know that the rock comes in many, many different ways. So, all right, just moving right along. Okay, so I have just a couple things to show you today for the my show and tell. would you grab me those? I have two things I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my Shavuot, one of my Shavuot baskets. So I actually give away, thank you very much. So I give away 7 baskets in honor of the 7 Shabbats that lead up to Shavuot. I give away 7 baskets of goodies to my guests that come, but also sometimes if we don't have that many guests, then I give them away to my neighbors or whoever the Rock moves me to give. This is actually Tanis's basket that I'm going to give her on or tomorrow when she comes. But I just want to show you kind of what things I have in it. Maybe you could hold these up to the thing. I have my little it's a mini handbook that I give away, and it's pretty big. Maybe you can thumb through it there so they can kind of see how big it is. I don't know if I could do it. If it's too hard, there you go. I'm gonna get it. Yeah, it's just many pages worth of just telling what this feast is about. And because I really feel like a feast needs some information, as in we're not just getting together to party or dress up and look pretty. I feel it needs you need to mention the story. You need to mention what the feast is about at the feast. So that is my belief. I have also a little CD of my favorite Shavuot music that I'm going to give away. So it has the 2 songs by Carrie Joby on it. But, I give these away. I'm not charging for them, so I can put on here and I only have a few that I'm doing. So I can't, obviously you can't sell somebody else's music, but I'm not selling them. I'm giving it away. And I'm only giving a few. I also have some little these are wedding tea cakes that we made for Shavuot. Isaac can show this. And then these you probably don't need to show too closely, but these are little wedding tea cakes again. And here is a little Shavuot parallel scroll that people can look at the parallels between the first contract and the last contract. And then here is a handout all about the Mikvah and what that is about, the Mikvah of identification. And here's a little mezuzah document that somebody can put near their door or in their little mezuzah on their door. We were at a friend's house last week, and she actually wrote the stuff on her door frame in gold or silver pen. Super cool. So she painted her door frame burgundy, and then she wrote the commandments and wrote down, "Me and my household shall serve Yahweh Elohim" on the door frame. Anyway, and then I had these are the little rose tubes that you can put water in and put a little flower. So then what we do is tomorrow we'll go out in the woods. Yes, we will. We'll go somewhere and we'll get greenery. So we wrap the basket in greenery and put water in here so that they don't die, so that people can bring those home. So I love my little baskets. I was inspired to do this when we very first started celebrating Shavuot. I just Googled it and researched what the Jews do. And I saw this picture of this little girl in a field with a Shavuot basket, and she had flowers in her hair, and it just sparked a whole bunch of ideas in me. So that is why we do that. And then one other thing I wanted to show you is the new covenant marriage ketubah this is our families. This was the first one we did. So the first year, an agreement between Yahweh Elohim and Israel. I just printed out what I believed at the time was the contract and something that we signed and kept on our wall. But the next year, I changed it a little bit, and that one was hard to write on because it was glossy. So then this year I did matte, so much better, and edited a little bit, and then kept doing it. And here is another one that we did, and this year it's gotten this big, and this is actually for somebody who's coming tomorrow. It's on poster board, and beautiful ketubah. This is on our website to get if you want, but this is a image. I used to be a wedding photographer, so I have images that people have released to me. So these are my images. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you today for show and tell. Yeah. All right. So however you are celebrating Shavuot tomorrow, may it be blessed, may it be beautiful, and may you love to do it again. May you want to do it again and again and again. All right, let's continue forward. I have no idea what time it is. Do you know? Do you see?
12:20.
12:20. All right. Well, I think we're right on time. We're going to recap season 1 at all costs. I think, Isaac, I'm just going to have you join me here just for a second. Oh, unless you don't want to. It's okay. I have pictures for you. We're just going to, and again, I have these slides. I will make these slides available if you want to see. But we went live. I'll just run down through these. Okay, so I just want to recap the show and the history of the Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show. And you can fill in as you see things that I forget. But November 21st, 2017, I was taking Hadassah to, she was in theater class, and I was taking her there for some practice to one of the health clubs that they were using, the big theater room that they had, Croc Center, basically. It wasn't just a health club, but anyway. And I put her into her little practice there, and then I went down the hall and thought, well, what am I going to do for the next hour and a half? And decided it was time. I decided it was time. It's something that's been brewing in my head for a long time, this idea of a Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl show. I didn't know it was going to be called that, but it's been brewing in my head. And so then I thought, it's time. I had enough conversations with ladies to know that I needed to do something, that we needed, that the ladies needed some support, that we needed, that I needed a place to speak from. So I hunkered down in one of the open rooms, hunkered down on the floor and set up my little camera, my brand new iPhone, and I thought, I'm going to try live. Like, I'd never tried live before. So my very first live anything was November 21, 2017, last year. And I went and I just invited the ladies on the Teshuvah group, Ladies of Teshuvah group, to join me on Shabbat that I was going to go live there, and we were going to talk about the season. So in November we were dealing with Thanksgiving and Christmas and all this other stuff, and I was just sick of it. It was really making me mad. So I thought, it's time. We're going to really push into this and get some good solid teaching out there that is, showing the users what they're supposed to be doing with their life. Anyway, I did that, and I had no idea where we were going to do live on Shabbat. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I had no idea what I was going to do. But then that Shabbat, we went Happy Hippie Real Girl show. Number 1 was in the bowels of a library. And we realized that wasn't going to work because the internet was all right, but we were so far down in the library that the brick prevented the signal. So, but we did that. I thought I had topics here on all these, but I know we covered all kinds of topics over the course of the last 25 shows, but that was the number 1. Number 2, we ended up going to a different library, and we reserved one of their meeting rooms, and Tanis came to join me for that one. The 3rd show was actually in a gym, so a local club or gym. It was your basic, it's like different than just let's do a triathlon. We're talking bodybuilders and stuff, and they were pretty intense. So, but we were up in a room in there, and for show 3, for show 4, and then for our Hanukkah rededication ceremony. And one thing about this gym was that you could hear the basketballs in the background. It was an unfinished room. It was, and ended up that I didn't realize it, but I was actually streaming off my own data, not off of their Wi-Fi. So ended up that, and the issue had always been Wi-Fi because I didn't have the data to do it. I didn't have the streaming power to do it off my phone. And so I was hooking into other people's Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, because we live in the woods and we don't get internet where we are hardly at all. So I needed to use someone else's, and I can't afford an office. Tried that last year, but couldn't afford it to keep it. So we had the heart dedication ceremony with basketballs in background. So I left that situation and tried to find another one. So here we were in a pub downtown, had an upstairs room that was really cool, kind of overlooked the pub. So we tried that, but the problem there was once we were tied into their internet, it was sketchy and it didn't work. So you see that we're at the pub here, but here we're running from the pub during the middle of the show trying to find another location to finish because we had all these ladies on watching. I was in tears because we 20 minutes later we still hadn't found a place, and we got on the freeway and we just started going to Post Falls and ended up at the library in Post Falls. And here Isaac was consoling me. We went live and we were talking about the frustrations that I was having trying to do the show, because I knew it was important. I knew there was a lot of people that wanted to have it happen, but I just could not seem to find the right location. And now that I had said yes and I was going for it, now I had to figure it out. Show 6 was at that library, so we were at that library, and we got a back room, basically a big old conference room, and that worked for show 6. But then we ended up I ended up trying, they had another room that was an interactive room, so it was set up beautifully for exactly what I was hoping to do. So I ended up for show 7, show 8, show 9, show 10, and all these, like, we talked about the Melchizedek Priesthood, we talked about the Ruach, the feminine Ruach, we talked about, so many things. Show 11 was My Heart Was Broken That Day, and I walked you through, how to deal with that. And it's show 11. Show 12, Hadassah came with me, and she was crocheting. Show 13, which is our Purim show. Show 14 was my birthday. All of these shows were there in that interactive room, which was super cool. So we did 14. My birthday show was there. Show 15, Hadassah and I did that show. Frankly, that was my favorite outfit and hairdo. all these different do's and all these different hairdos and outfits. It's super funny because I'm not the fashion queen by any means. So I look at these and go, wow, okay, well I did okay. Show 16 was there. Show 17 was there. I was just getting over being sick here, and Isaac joined me for this show, and I think 17 was when Isaac started to join me for real. He had actually come on during Hanukkah season at the gym, but this show he came on to help me with it, and then he hasn't really left since, so I'm super happy about that. Show 18 was there also, and then show 19 was there, and Isaac was on from there. And then at that point, after show 19, I got banned from the library. Brutal. Yeah, I got banned from the library, so I was doing not just the show there, but I was doing midweeks with the ladies in the group. I got banned from the library because I was broadcasting. That was their excuse. But as you saw, I had broadcasted a ton of shows there, and they knew what I was doing and didn't have a problem. But unfortunately, when I moved to YouTube, so we moved to YouTube on show 17. By show 19, I was banned, and the reason is I went live to YouTube, which is public, and the ladies got to go on to see what I was doing. So they saw my logo in the fishbowl, and they probably typed in Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl, and they found it. And they started watching, and they saw what I was doing. And not only was it that the excuse they made was that I was selling the convention, and I wasn't supposed to do that, or asking for support, which I wasn't supposed to do, but also I believe that it was more about the content. So anyway, so then here on show 20, we ended up back at one of the pubs that we had in a different room. It was quieter. It was this worked lovely. And at that point, then I had some support with some ladies who were promising some monthly help to get unlimited Wi-Fi on my phone, which Verizon just came out with, which we ended up able to get with the help of these ladies and Darlene and Samantha. And so now I can, which I'm doing right now, I'm broadcasting live from my phone, which is not eating data. It's unlimited, so it doesn't matter. So that was a big step in getting the show off the ground and getting to be able to stable somewhere. But the problem was where. So then this was in that same room at the pub. The second, let's see, this is show 21. And then we went back for show 22 to that same pub. They had told me that you can't reserve the room, and I was like, okay, so we'll just show up and just assume we can get the room. Not so. For show 22, we showed up to get the room, and they had it blocked off at 10. We were at 10:30. We showed up, and we go live at 11, and it was blocked off, and we're like, okay, well, we've been here before. Let's go find a place. Isaac's like just so frustrated with this whole situation. and we ended up driving around and ended up at my old office space that they're like incubator suites for businesses. So they had like a common area. So I walked in, and one of the ladies who knew me when I was there, she was another shop owner. I said, hey, I've got 15 minutes to a show. Can I just set up here and go live here? And she said, okay, fine. And we curled back in a corner and did the show live. And 2 days later, I got this nasty message from her that she found me. I don't know how she found me, but got a nasty message that accused me of all kinds of things, lying and all this to get that spot. And I just could not believe it. And I said, I am not coming back. Don't worry. I will never invade your space again. Same thing that I told the ladies at the library. I was like, they came at me with red faces, angry. You could feel the demons. And I just said, okay, I don't need to come back. I will find another spot. I'm leaving. So same thing that happened there. So then Jan, one of the ladies in the group who lives closer to us, she offered her home. So the next show, which was show 23, just a couple shows ago, we ended up broadcasting from her living room. Well, unfortunately, the Wi-Fi out there wasn't very good either, and it was a very frustrating show, not just because of broadcasting problems. So we couldn't go there again, even though it was a wonderful place and we loved having Shabbat with Jan and her kiddos. So last week we have a new location. As you can see, we are in a new location. Where are we? So last week, okay, so last week Shabbat. So that Wednesday before last week's show, I called the storage unit where we have 2 units. When the new people moved into the home behind us, we had to get out of the barn where we were, and so we had to move everything out into storage units. Well, we got a couple storage units, one for the ministry and one for tools and stuff. And so I called the storage unit and said, do you have a little bigger space, and one with 5 more feet in it? Because I just could not figure out how to move everything in the ministry storage unit. And he said, yeah, actually we do. And so Hadassah and I moved the entire storage unit in the rain on Wednesday. We were soaking wet by the time we were done. Moved it all into this new storage unit. So we have boxes here right in front of us that go, so all the storage stuff is up there, and we have a nice little section here we have made into a studio. So we are in a storage unit. That's where we are. We're going to finish the Happy Hippie Hebrew show in a storage unit with Wi-Fi off of my phone, the unlimited. So that is the history of the season 1 Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl. But looking over the pictures of the show and knowing how hard that was, but also knowing how powerful the shows have been, and how many women have been blessed by them, how I have been blessed by them by just learning how to do this and having interactions with women and knowing that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing has been super awesome. And I also have seen Papa's hand, on getting us locations and places, and I'm okay with I've done hard for so long, I don't even know how to do easy. So for me, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But Happy Hippie Hebrew Girl Show season 2, Isaac hopes with all his heart is going to be in a better location, one that isn't, something in a storage unit. But I don't mind. I think it's kind of cool. I feel okay. Except last week, I don't know if you heard, the door kept opening because we're on a 15-minute timer. Have you checked that? Okay, so the electricity's on a 15-minute timer outside, so we have cord running outside, and so he has to go out there and turn the. But here's the thing: is like I've looked down the aisles and I've seen people. There's people who have wood workshops here. They have auto mechanic shops out of their storage unit. They park their bikes and they work on them, and different things like that. So hey, why not here? I don't know. So I think that next season, who knows what's going to happen when you come back. We'll see.
Who knows where we'll be.
So we don't know. And then all right, and then crazy. It's been crazy. Like we actually moved this season because of creating the show and continuing the show, we actually moved our bedroom into the living room, and moved our office into the bedroom, and Maggie's study room into the bedroom as well. So I mean, it's affected our life on a personal level as well. Just so you know, this is definitely we are dedicated to doing this until Papa says enough, or that's good. Thank you so much, Rebekah. Now you can go do something else. I don't know, but anyway, I'm rambling. All right, so we're going to talk just for a few minutes about New Covenant Benis. Okay, so if you're interested in getting into contract with Yahweh, and I suggest very strongly that you go watch my brand new video, Shavuot Basics number 2, and you're going to be walked through the story of covenants and what covenant is available right now, and how Yahweh extends salvation to mankind through covenant, through this contract. And so Shavuot is all about getting into that contract. So one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is covenant benis. Here we go. So when I say that, covenant benefits, so you have at the base of Mount Sinai, when you see that first contract made, you see an actual proposal, agreement, you have to see the actual contract details, and then you see the fine print in that contract. You actually see, okay, if you keep my royal law of love, which is written down in that first contract, which you'll see in part 2 of Shavuot Basics. If you watch it, you'll understand this more. But if you keep this, then I will do this for you. So there's benefits in that first contract that Israel was offered. And one of the things that I say all the time is Israel did not have to break that contract that soon, 40 days after. They didn't have to break it that soon. They could have lived under, in that contract for a very long time and received all those benefits. And I think that they continue to receive some of them throughout the course of the history there, you can see. But, man, they could have really gotten the full benefit of all of those covenant benefits had they not broken it so soon. But you'll see that it was an inferior contract, and the superior contract to come is the one that comes with the Ruach HaKodesh in the benefits of that contract. So, but this has been something that I've struggled with, like over the course of years. Where are the covenant benefits in the new contract? So I've wanted to know what they are. And last year I did a study on what they are. And he says in the scriptures, blessed are those who keep the demands of my covenant. And so what will he give us for obeying the demands of this contract, this covenant, this new covenant? So of course there's the eternal life. Of course there's a happily ever after. But what about now? So a lot of people, we all need, what about now? Will he protect us from the cougars? Will he protect us from, illness? Will he protect us from what do I get now? And I got really sold on coming into contract with him when I first saw the first Melchizedek contract. I got very sold on it because I saw the covenant benefits and I said, I want those. How do I get those? Oh, do I have to obey something? Fine. What is it I have to obey? I was very happy to do whatever because I wanted, it says in there, that, you'll have none of the illnesses that the pagans do. You'll have health. I want that. You'll have prosperity. I want that. Your bread will be sure. I want that. There's all these benefits to that first contract. And so I'm like, okay, there's got to be benefits to this second contract. So what are they? All right, so I don't have any slides for this, so I want you to get a pen and paper out. And I'm going to just show you, I'm going to run down through what they are, what I have seen they are, and then the text. You're going to write down the text, and this won't be on the slides, just so you know, so you need to write them down. So I'll try to go slow. It's not anywhere except I'm just going to say it. And you can look them up and you can determine for yourself, this is part of the covenant benefits of covenant benefits of being in this contract. Okay. So, and I believe most of them are New Testament or Brit Hadashah. Yeah. So this is I think this study could go on and on. But I believe that the benefits of being in this new contract are huge. There is so much more than what that first contract had. Even though that first contract had incredible benefits, this one is even better. It's called a superior covenant for many reasons. One is that it has the indwelling of the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the main thing. But I'm also seeing these benefits as making it superior as well. So here we go. Number 1 is the gift of the Ruach. So that's the number 1 benefit of being in this contract, is the gift and the comfort of the Ruach HaKodesh. So Acts 2:17 through 18 and 38. John 14:26. Luke 24:49. Ezekiel 39:29. John 14:16. Am I going too fast? John 15:26. I do wish I had slides on these, but I just ran out of time. Acts 5:32. John 16:7 through 14. I have a lot to go through, so hopefully you're with me there. But you can go back and replay this as well, and then you can stop and take all the time you want to with it. All right, second benefit that I saw is gladness. Acts 2:46. I'm not actually going to look these up and read them to you right now. I'm just going to go down through these so that you can read them later today if you want to. Number 3 is singleness of heart. Jeremiah 32:39. Ezekiel 11:19. Acts 2:46. Singleness of heart. That's cool, because then it means you won't be divided in your heart. You will be single-minded on Him. Singleness of heart. All right, and then prophecy, visions, and dreams will be part of this benefits. You'll get the gift of prophecy. You get the gift of visions and gift of dreams. Not everyone, but this is part of, the things that He is going to give out to His priesthood. That's Acts 2:17 to 18. Another benefit will be wisdom. The Ruach is wisdom. The Ruach is comfort. The Ruach is wisdom, right? Hey, Isaac, is there any way you can turn that fan on? I don't know if that would work. Okay, wisdom, Acts 6:3, excuse me. Acts 6:3. Wisdom. And then you get living bread with this contract. You get Yahshua, the living bread. Matthew 26 to 28. And I know there are so many more verses about that, but you will get living bread. You will get Yahshua. All right. You will get a job assignment. How cool is this? You get a job assignment. There is a job assignment to this contract. If you walk in it and live in it, you have a job assignment. And you can see that in Luke 22:26. You can see it in Matthew 28:19 to 20. You can see it in Mark 16:15. You can see it in John 21:17. I actually want to read Matthew 28:19 to 20. Let me read that. Matthew 28. Let me see if I can find. In the chronological Gospels, it's a little difficult to find the text, actually, but, well, yes. 28. Oh, that feels nice. Thank you, Isaac. All right, 28:19 to 20. I think. Have you all got your Bibles there with me? I hope. 28. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it's the, duh. I'm tired. The Great Commission. Then Yahshua came and spoke to His disciples. All power and authority has been given to me in heaven and earth. Go, teach all nations, and carry out all the things I've commanded you forever. So, contract benefits would be that you have a job assignment to go and carry out what He has commanded. Also in there, I would probably include the seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and then all these things will be added to you. I would add that in there. Okay, also, no titles of nobility, people. This is something as a Beni, as in you're not going to get no title of nobility. It's funny. Luke 22:25. All right, you are going to get an example. You're going to get Yahshua as your example. This is another benefit to this contract, is you actually have an example. John 13:15. You get a future place to live with Elohim. That is a benefit for a future. You get John. That's John 14:3. Another Beni that I like is, he says, you will ask anything in my name and it will be done. Ask anything in Yeshua's name and it will be done. John 14:14, John 15:7, John 15:16, John 16:23-24. So you can ask anything in Yeshua's name and it will be done. Now I challenge you to look at those texts and keep reading, because most of that is that he says, you ask anything in my name. He tells you actually what you can ask for. It doesn't mean you can ask for, I want a mansion, so I'm going to ask it in Yeshua's name, I'm going to get it. Or I want this particular job, or I want this particular spouse, or I want, whatever it is. It doesn't mean you can just go out and start acting like little king and little queen. What he's saying is you can ask for anything in my name. You're asked, he goes on to say, the Father will not withhold the Ruach HaKodesh when you ask for her. So you're basically going to ask for the Ruach. That's more in line with what he's talking about when he says, ask anything in my name. So the Ruach for someone, the power of Yehovah to go into someone, the demons to come out, this sort of thing. All right, you can ask for comfort. Comfort will be part of the Benis. John 14:18-26. Benefits will be loved by Papa, loved by Yahweh. You remember John 14:21-23. Of course, Yahweh is love and he loves everyone, but Yeshua makes it very clear that if you eat of him and you come to the Father through him, then his Father will love you. All right, you will get shalom. Shalom is a Beni. John 14:27, John 16:33, Jeremiah 33:6. What does John 14:26 say? I want to see what this says. John 14:20. I can't remember. John 14. John 17. John 14:26. But the Comforter, which is the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh, which the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will bring all the things back that I have spoken to you to your remembrance. There you go. That's what I said. I have memory. So obviously you're going to have some memory capabilities because the Ruach, heart memory, because the Ruach is going to bring back things that you were taught. That's a Beni of this contract. All right. The ability to remain in Yeshua is actually part of the covenant benefits here. John 15:4-5 and 7. You will be able to bear fruit. You will bear much fruit. John 15:5. That's a Beni. You'll be guided into all truth. That is a Beni. John 16:13. You will have joy. And what is Wendy was talking at the Ascension, was talking about what was the word she was using?
Unconditional.
No, joy that surpasses all understanding. Joy that is supernatural. Supernatural joy. John 16:22 and 24. All right, you're going to get, check this Beni out, tribulation. You're going to get wilderness time. You're going to get tribulation. That is promised as part of this contract benefits. You may not think that is a benefit, but honestly, if you look at the idea that Yahweh Elohim is the all-consuming fire, and the only way to get through that fire when he comes through and he burns up all the chaff, and what is left is the good, what is left is the gold, when that fire comes through, you have got to have nothing but pure, you can't be anything but pure gold. And so the tribulation is going to make you into pure gold. It's going to make you into that metal that can withstand his all-consuming fire. That's the point of the tribulation. So you're promised tribulation so that you will make it through that fire. All right, John 16:33, John 15:18 to 19, and John 17:14. All right, New Covenant Benis. And this is something that is future, but eternal life. Although eternal life, he says, starts now. Right? So that's John 17:2. He says that the part of the Benis will be that you will know Yahweh and Yahshua. So you'll actually know your Elohim. You'll know. Like, not just knowing up here, but you'll know in your heart. You will know your family. You will know the family of Elohim. Jeremiah 16:21. All right, is it okay? It looks like it's on, but we didn't lose everything, did we? All right, so whenever somebody calls me or texts me or something, it just ruins the feed. It stops the broadcast. So one of the things we're going to do for season 2 is I'm changing this whole setup, and we are going to be using a wire. What is it called, Isaac? It's a webcam. Yeah, so we'll be using a webcam for season 2, so I won't have these issues of people calling and then it stopping the broadcast and then struggling to get back on. Okay. So anyway, but one of our friends had a baby, and we're going to go see the baby afterwards, so we're excited about that, but I think that was, they were calling to talk to us about that. Let's see, where was I? Okay, we're talking about the new Melchizedek contract benefits in the new covenant. So the new covenant idea, it's called I'm calling it the new Melchizedek contract. And again, go watch Shavuot Basics Part 2, and you will understand what I mean by that. But we're going down through what I am seeing as part of the Benis of being in this contract. All right, so here we go. I don't remember. Oh, bear fruit. Oh, guided into all truth. Here we go. We'll be guided into all truth. I think I already said that. John 16:13. Joy, tribulation, eternal life. We'll know Yahweh. Okay, and Yahshua. Here we go. We will have echad status with Elohim. Huge. We'll have oneness with Elohim. Oneness with Yahweh. Oneness with Yahshua. This is part of the contract Benis. That was not in the first contract, the first Melchizedek contract. So that is John 17:11, John 17:11, John 17:21 to 23, John 17:26. We'll be set apart. This is another contract Beni. We'll be set apart. That's John 17:17. Being set apart is not always fun, but we'll be set apart. We will be made perfect. Actually, go figure. This isn't what the Christianity talks about. Christianity says that you can't be perfect, but actually he says that we will be made perfect, like our Father in heaven is perfect. John 17:23. We will be loved by Papa. We'll be loved by Elohim. John 17:24. We will have life, and we'll have life abundant. This is another Beni. Ezekiel 18 is all about that. John 20:31. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly, to the full idea. We will be called by his name again. How cool is that? Jeremiah 16:21 will be called by his name. As in family name. We will be gathered together again and restored to the land. This is part of the contract Benis that I am seeing. So at some point we will be restored to the land. We are being gathered together on some level, even though we are kind of scattered everywhere. We're being gathered together in heart, in spirit, and in truth. And then at some point we'll be gathered back to the land, restored to the land. That's Ezekiel 39:28. Jeremiah 16:14 to 15. Jeremiah 33:6. And John 20:31. And one of the contract Benis is we're going to be obedient. Obedience is going to be part of that. John 20:31. I believe, let me see what this says. What's John 17:8 say? I want to see. John 17:8. John 17:8. What does that say? Oh. I have given to them the words which you gave me, and they have received them. All right, so you're going to have Yeshua's words, and you're going to have Yahweh's words in you. John 17:8. Yeah, that's a contract, Beni. You're going to have understanding. Jeremiah 3:15 and Luke 24. And I don't know if I put the verse there. So in Luke, there's talks about you'll have understanding. You're going to have your fortunes restored at some point. I know it doesn't probably feel like that right now, but at some point you will have your fortunes restored. This is part of the new contract, Benny's, either now or later. I'm not sure, but it says Jeremiah predicts it and prophesies it in Jeremiah 33:6. In Ezekiel 39:25. There you go. And I think I've seen some others there. I don't have, this is a partial study. This is just my initial study on this. You are going to have deliverance, abundant grain, and no famine. Ezekiel 36:29-30. And I love the Psalms that says, I think this would be part of it. He says, no man was saved by the size of his army. No warrior escapes death due to his own great strength. A horse is a vain hope for deliverance, for despite its great strength, it cannot save. But the eyes of Yahuwah, Yahweh Elohim, are on those who fear him, and on those who trust in his unfailing love, to deliver them from death and keep them alive in famine. My favorite all-time verses. All right, just a couple more that I see at this point is you're going to forget your shame. So there is a ton of shame when you look back at, oh, I celebrated those feasts. I sacrificed to the God of Christmas. I sacrificed to the God of Easter. I did that. Oh, I feel shame. You are going to get, you're going to forget your shame. So if you're not walking in the forgetfulness of that shame yet, you're not quite receiving that yet, but you will. I mean, this is a journey, so don't freak out. But that's part of this is part of the covenant benefits of being in this new Melchizedek contract, is you're going to forget your shame. Ezekiel 39:25. And then Yahuwah's face will not be hidden from you. Ezekiel 39:39. You're going to get good shepherds. Yeah, you're going to have to be discerning, and there's a lot of bad ones out there. There's a lot of wolves and sheep in wolves' clothing. I always get that wrong. Sheep in wolves' clothing, who are out there that are going to try to lead you astray, but you are going to get good shepherds. He's going to send good shepherds. Jeremiah 3:15. You're going to dwell securely in Eretz Israel someday. This is part of the new contract, Beni. Someday when Yeshua comes, or before, I don't really know. There's things that are a little bit confusing still, but you're going to dwell securely in Eretz Israel. Ezekiel 36:29, Ezekiel 39:26. And there's a whole lot. I haven't finished this study. I'm sure there's more on that. Like I know of a few already in Revelation and stuff that I don't have down here. But anyway, and two more things. You're going to get a new heart. Yay! You're going to get a good heart. You're going to get the new good heart. Jeremiah 24:7. Ezekiel 36:24-26. Ezekiel 18:31. Ezekiel 24:7. And the last thing here that I have on my initial study of the contract, new covenant contract, Benny's, are you're going to be made whole and healed. Isaiah 53:5. Psalms 107:20. Hosea 11:3. Jeremiah 30:17. Jeremiah 33:8. So there is my initial study on what the contract benefits are of being in this new covenant with your bridegroom to be. All right, so I think we're about done here. We're going to go over to the Facebook group and meet with the ladies for a few minutes. But next fall on season 2, provided that Yah blesses it, we will be back live. So I hope to see you then. I have one thing that I wanted to read you before we leave. Again, just real quick, the Ladies of Teshuvah, please meet me back in the group in just a few minutes when I sign out here to say hi and to say goodbye for the summer. So I wanted to read you Yeshua's new Melchizedek priesthood blessing. Okay, so there's an Aaronic blessing, which Michael calls an ironic blessing, because he doesn't actually, the blessing that Aaron and his sons and the priests were supposed to put on the people was his name. And in the blessing, the way that most Messianics and Hebrews and all them say it, and Jews and stuff, they don't say the name. The whole point is to put the name on the people, but they don't say it. They say Adonai or Hashem or God or something, or G-D or whatnot, and they don't actually say it, which makes it ironic. But we're not Levite priests. We are Melchizedek priests. So we look at, what did Yahshua, our high priest, what blessing did he give his priesthood? And so what I have done, and I saw this, like it blew my mind. We saw, or we see here, Yahshua prays for his disciples in the Kidron Valley on his way to Gethsemane. So he's actually, he left the disciples for a time where he went to pray for them. So they're walking. They stopped at the garden after this, at the olive press, where he goes and he starts sweating blood. But right before that, he starts to enter into this really deep, incredible prayer that he prays for his disciples, because he knows he's leaving, and he is going to pray blessing on them. And I find what he says here stunning. Okay, so I'm going to read you what he says, and you follow along. I'm just going to kind of skip down through, and I want you to see the gist of what he's saying, what his blessing would be onto his priesthood. It says, "This is life eternal, that they might know you, the one true Elohim, and me, Yeshua the Messiah, whom you have sent. Now, O Father, glorify me with the glory which I had with you before the world existed. I have declared your name to the men you gave me out of the world. Yours they were, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word. Now they know that everything you've given me is from you. I pray for them now." And here's what he says. Holy Father, there's quite a bit in here, and I'm skipping some, but I'm just pulling out the parts that really stirred me and that I see as a theme. Holy Father, keep those you have given me through your own name, that they may be one as we are one. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I do not pray that you would take them out of the world, but that you would keep them from evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through your truth. Your word is truth. Wow. I have given them your word. The words that he spoke from the mountain back at Mount Sinai, those words is what Yeshua came to give. And then the world hates them because they're not of the world. But Yeshua is not. He's saying, I'm not of the world, so, it's understandable, but I don't pray that you would take them out of the world, but keep them from the evil that is in the world. And then sanctify them, set them apart, sanctify them through your truth, and your word, which came from the mountain, is truth. How cool is that? As you have sent me into the world, even so I have also sent them into the world. And he goes on a little bit later. He says, and he prays for everyone who is affected by the words of those 12, or the 11 here. But then he says, as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, I pray that they also may be one in us, and that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave to me, so that they may be one, even as we are one. I in them, and you in me, that they be made perfect, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them as you have loved me. Wow. I have declared your name to them, and I will declare it so, that the love wherewith you have loved me may be in them and I in them. Do you see, like, that's what I see, is the priestly blessing that Yahshua gives his priests, is, may you, Father, be in them like I am in you and you are in me. May they be one. May they be perfect in that ehadness, not just together, but with us. And so I see that as being the blessing, not just that, like the Aaronic blessing is, may his face shine on you, may he give you this. But he's not just asking for his face to shine on you. He's asking for him to be in us. I think that is so superior to that. I mean, I'm not saying that that other blessing is not beautiful, and it is, but I'm saying there's a superior one that came out of Yeshua's mouth, and Yeshua said, may you be in them as I am in you and you are in me. All right. So shalom. I want to thank Yahweh Elohim for a beautiful season of growth, of change. I want to thank Isaac for being patient and coming on. He actually sat in here on the show and talked to me several times. It was kind of just, it's with him now. I like doing the show with Isaac. Oh, I love having Isaac on because we banter really good and I need him. So I'm really thankful for Isaac putting up with me and my ideas and everything that I have wanted to do for the King. He's been like, really? Okay. Okay. All right. He's seen me cry. He's seen me in pain. He's seen me successful and frustrated and everything all at once. So he sees all the behind things, and he cares very deeply about about me, and I thank him for his patience, for sure. Thank you for my girls and their patience as well, because our Shabbats have been, kind of taken up with the show, and we might rethink that next year. We'll talk to Papa about it this summer and see how that goes. And I want to thank the Ladies of Teshuvah for, continuing to help grow the group and for being amazing ladies. Tons of prayer that you guys have given each other and me, and tons of encouragement. And I have needed that like you won't know. I have needed that so much. So thank you again to Elohim for all they have done and for the fire that burns in my heart. I don't know what else to do. I got this fire that's just the mikvah of fire. It just stays right there and it singes me. And it's like, man, if I don't do something with it, it's going to burn me. I feel like, who is it, Jeremiah, that had he said, you've deceived me. Your fire is like too much for, Anyway, so I guess with that, we are done with show number 25. I wish it had been like 24. I think 24 was a better number, but 25 is a good number as well. So we are done with show number 25. Thank you for watching. And ladies, I'm going to meet you over in the group for just a few short minutes. And I'll see you over there to say shalom for the summer. Love y'all. And have a wonderful wonderful summer. And may Yahweh bless you. And may, as Yeshua said, may Yahweh be in you as Yeshua and Yahweh are one. And in each other. Here, let me play the music. I gotta play the music. See, I need somebody to help to play the music. Cool.